Hi everybody and welcome to Beyond Politics. Today we are talking about the GNU and we'll be posing questions such as, was it doomed from the beginning? Is it falling apart? How long until it does fall apart? Because what's been happening in government is very interesting. Firstly, how government should work to begin with, how parliament at least should work, is that all the MPs sitting there on those seats should be representing everyone's interests, the whole country's interests, not just those that voted for them. But because of our interesting setup, multi-party system that we have in South Africa, what rather happens is that the different parties see each other as competing teams, and governance never takes place as a result of the distraction of party politics. And we're seeing the exact same thing play out in the GNU.
So with this GNU, or beast as many people call it, the setup that's been created by certain parties because of the electoral outcome, things have matured over time. So initially, some of the new parties coming into the GNU felt emboldened, felt empowered, because they also now in government. And very quickly, the ruling party, or the past ruling party, because they're not the ruling party anymore, they're the majority party, the African National Congress, have become emboldened in seeing what this actually means. It is played out now over a period of time, and they've realized that the second largest party, like the Democratic Alliance, doesn't really have any impetus or any bite or anything, and they will go ahead and steamroll whatever they want, even without discussions. And we've said that the GNU was stillborn from the very beginning, and that it inevitably is just delaying certain things from taking place and stopping people from taking certain actions. And you speak about a new system, doing things differently, having people elected in a way that they actually represent the people on the ground, which
and
is
are
not
held
the case.
accountable through voting people out as well as voting
Yeah,
people in.
exactly.
But how did you feel about the GNU after the elections? I know personally a lot of people that thought it was a wonderful thing. It gave them hope, made them feel good about the prospects of South Africa. People thought that maybe we could turn the economy around. Unfortunately, as this article will explore proves, the ANC is not negotiating with any of the other parties. They are just steamrolling ahead with literal communist policies that can only lead to the destruction of our economy, which will lead to the suffering of the most vulnerable, less jobs and less opportunities. And I think it's very unfortunate. Unfortunately, I don't think people like to be told what they don't want to hear, naturally. I watched a fascinating movie. I find it off topic, but I find it very hard to find good movies these days. Everything is in series format. But anyway, I found a good movie, a nice spy movie about the German War. And a profound thing was said, that we would all be better off without hope. Can you imagine that? Hope is all that people want, especially in the realm of politics. All people want is hope. I'm sure you want hope that the future is going to be better, no matter what your circumstances are. But just think about that. We'll be better off without hope because why? We will then take the necessary action to get what we want.
Politicians actually use, and people that control the world use hope to get people to do nothing. And when you have hope in something, then often people will just sit back and not take the action necessary to get the outcomes that they want. Because often people don't hold those that they see is going to solve the problem for them to account. They don't stay up to date with what is happening. They're not checking into a meeting every week to see how have you advanced in the cause that I care about. And this is why false hope or fake hope is a huge problem. And the GNU is such a false and fake hope.
So let's get into it. Yeah, we're going to share two articles, but we'll focus here with Carol Patton's article. Very interesting. Can the DA blink again? GNU on the brink. So we have obviously seen some bills being passed, the expropriation bill, as well as bail bill, as well as the NHI coming up very soon. And all of those policies are arguably going to be quite detrimental to the progress of South Africa in many different ways. Yes, there are problems that need to be solved.
They're
Yes,
communist.
we can have certain policies and bills passed in government to solve those problems, but unfortunately the mentality of the ANC unfortunately has always been more government to solve problems. And when government continuously proves it has a track record of failing over and over again, more government definitely is not the solution to problems. They look at the education system and think, oh, let's put the ballot bill in place. Surely that's going to improve
More
things.
control.
It's not going to happen. With the expropriation situation, I don't know where that comes from. I know housing is a huge crisis in South Africa. We have more than enough space, and government has more than enough funds to actually
And
sort
land.
that out, but it's just not going to happen. So more government is just going to be more evil exploitation of the South African resources. So yeah, let's get into it. The government of national unity is on the brink. What happens next is critical if the coalition is to survive. So this is the interesting situation the DA is in. Maybe you can explain that a little bit.
Well, the nice thing is that she calls it a coalition, not a government of national unity, because they coined that phrase. In a government of national unity, as you said earlier, various people from various backgrounds, beliefs, etc., work together as a government. They govern together. And this is not what's happening right now. There were these documents drawn up that are not legal documents. They're not legally binding or anything. It's just like a gentleman's handshake. And these documents are supposed to lay out how people do things. Now, just before Hitler took on the world, he did exactly the same thing. Everything that he signed did not matter to him because he had a grander plan and a grander scheme that he wanted to unfold. So he felt nothing for those that signed these agreements because he knew it was just giving him more power. Now it's the same thing here. The ANC knew that if they drew the DA into this, it will make them look bad at the end of the day. And disruption of the South African governance system is at the order of the day.
And as it says here, last month, after describing the Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill as a red line, the DA that is, it acceded to it fully, with the Minister of Basic Education, Siviwe Gwarube, co-signing the promulgation. So that's interesting.
They changed nothing. You've been fooled into believing that these people cared about the ballable, that it's a problem. But every single organization that moaned and bitched about it, held rallies about it, and all the rest, were part of negotiations where they allowed it to be implemented across the board in its current state.
Which is a big blow to freedom and progress in South
absolutely.
Africa. So yeah, this is the sticky situation as a coalition partner or whatever in the GNU, is that the DA doesn't want to leave the GNU because, why? They don't want the ANC to partner with EFF or MK. And then on the other hand, in order to stay in the GNU, the DA literally has to compromise on its very founding principles.
Well, it's everything the DA claimed they stand for. And the voters voted for. A lot of their voters were shocked when the DA entered into a coalition with the African National Congress. Something that many of them said before the elections they would never do. Now they're saying, but this was a do or die situation. Well, dying is what's going to happen. Because the ANC is going to do what they want to do. And they've made this clear. So the Secretary General Fikile Mbalula has said that they will implement what they want to implement. The DA is not going to stop them. And with the land expropriation bill, they did not even consult the DA, which means the DA is not even on their radar. They're going to do what they want to do. They have gone to the people on the ground, the grassroots ANC support, and they've realized now that support wants these communist policies implemented. That is what they want. And we need to, as South African citizens, that don't want communism, that don't want socialism, that believe in a free market, need to realize very quickly where we are going really fast so that we can take the necessary action. And that action is to change the governance system.
I think it's probably, for a lot of people...
urgently.
A leap of faith to believe that less government will equal more opportunity and prosperity. But that's exactly my belief. The less government there is, the more society has space to progress. The more government is implementing its arm and force above us with bills and policies and all the rest, the worse off we'll be in the end. Just because of the nature of how organizations are predatory, just to begin with. And I just hope that people realize that all the problems that we have, some of them are very structural, very mechanical, very physical, but with all the problems we have, the solution is less government and more citizen participation. And that is the part people don't want to hear, because it means we're going to have to do something outside of our immediate survival.
Yeah, it's nice to have the savior that says they'll do everything for you. And the one point that Carol Payton makes here that's really important is that there's no reason why the ANC should believe that the DA won't buckle again. They did with the Bellable. They buckled when they said it's a red line in the sand. They lied to you. Let's just call it what it is. And will they do that again with NHI and so many other things? They have now declared a dispute within the GNU. What does that even mean? It is all just nonsense that's making people believe that there is hope. The faster you see that this hope situation is fake, so that we can move on and change the governance system to one where we elect our president directly, elect our MPs directly, elect all our leaders directly, the better. We need to realize that the current system does not work for us, and we need to change the system. And Lawrence came up with an excellent plan to do that, and people need to support that more numbers, and it needs to become a mainstream discussion point.
Yes, there's only literally power in numbers. And unfortunately, it's going to take a lot of hard work for us to get to a point where the people of South Africa makes the government irrelevant, government power irrelevant in our lives.
So there's two ways that this can be achieved. People can use their common sense, see what is happening, listen to videos like this, share videos like this, like videos like this, so that other people can see it too, and then change their minds, join what we are doing and start to change things. Or they can suffer massive financial losses, where entire cities are destroyed, where towns are destroyed, being destroyed right now, many of them already totally derelict, to the point where people will then realize that the current government setup cannot deliver what people want. Sophistication, civility, and safety, security, many other things, opportunity, choice, freedom, all those things people want, and this current government system will and cannot provide that for you. We're not going to give you false hope and tell you that it is possible in the current system. It is not. And what the system does is it breeds corruption. So it's a system that breeds the corruption.
It definitely makes it easy. So in this article, Cyril is quoted saying, oh, but the ANC has 40% of the vote, 40% of the vote, 40% of the vote, but not keeping in mind what few people actually voted in 2024. And
less than half of eligible voters voted.
And when one is in the system that you're stuck in, it would have been better in 2024 if everyone voted for any party other than, in my opinion, the top three. That would have made a much balanced power in Parliament. Wouldn't have been a perfect situation, but it would have been better in the situation that we're in now. Just to end off, the NHI is obviously on the agenda next with regards to a big government decision. And the biggest problem that most parties have with the NHI, those that do have problems, is the fact that it's going to make medical aids null and void, because medical aids is an entire
private
sector
hospitals
of our economy that is huge. And now to just throw that away and put in a communist policy in its place, it's going to have huge ramifications.
The fact that people are even tolerating this to any degree shows you how people have been placated through our schooling system, etc., to do nothing, to sit back and wait for someone else to save them. On this channel, there are solutions. You can go to our website. You can go to our Telegram channel. The link is in the description below this video, where you will be able to read these articles if you're not subscribed. So do that. Look at our website. The link is in the description below. Look at the solutions we offer there. Become a part of those solutions and do something that will give you hope and give you more freedom.
So here's a little rude awakening from Fikile Mbalula. He says that the GNU is not a melting pot, and the ANC will not change in its path to transform this country. And then in the end, it really becomes, to me, how people think transformation should take place. So obviously the ANC will have their policies, and people within it will have their policies, but I have different ideas on transformation, and it's not more government, definitely not more government that's going to transform the country. Then he also made it clear, just to end, that the ANC believes not entirely without justification that the GNU will be a short-term thing, because come the next election, the MK party will shrink, and the ANC will be comfortably back in the mid to high 40s. Let me know in the comments what you think. What are your predictions with regards to political party support in the next elections? This is borne out by current opinion polls, which show some recovery for the ANC. So the article then asks the question, what happens next? Let me know in the comments what you think happens next. What is your synopsis of the political direction of our country right now in light of everything that's happening within the GNU?